Tonight on a sunny evening from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the first place Yankees and the second place Red Sox tangle in game 2 of this 3-game series, and the Red Sox have an opportunity with a victory to move in a first place tie with New York. It'll be Rick Porcello against CC Sabathia on the mound. But right now, I'd like to turn it over to my partner, Red Sox Hall of Famer Jerry Remy.
Thanks, Dave. Last night during the course of the Red Sox-Yankee games, I made some comments that offended a number of people in our audience. I'd like to apologize to my colleagues in NESN, to the Boston Red Sox, but most importantly, to the fans who were offended by my comments. I sincerely hope you accept my apologies. Thank you very much.
Jerry, thank you very much. Red Sox and the Yankees in the middle game of the series. A huge improvement in the weather. It's a beautiful night for a ball game. Stick around. First pitch is right around the corner from Yankee Stadium. To you by Amtrak. Enjoy comfortable and convenient travel from Boston and save 25% when you book 14 days in advance. Sox-Yankees round 2 of this 3-game series. Fascinating victory for the Red Sox last night. Jackie Bradley was right in the middle of that, certainly, as he has now hit safely in 7 consecutive games. Jackie with 10 RBIs over what is now a season-long 7-game hitting streak. And we have seen this before, and in Baltimore, launching one over the right center field fence late in that game for a 3-run shot. And then last night, keeping the streak alive and pushing it to 7 with that double late in the game. In fact, over his last 20 games, he's hitting .299. But you go back to last year, naturally he had that 29-game hitting streak, so you know how hot he can get. Hitting .391 with 2 home runs, 10 RBIs during the life of this one. Our unlimited baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. Closer look at his 7-game hitting streak. Right now, let's toss it down to Garen Austin.
Thanks, Obi. Well, as you mentioned, last night was a big win for the Red Sox to come in here and take the first game of the series. They're now only 1 game behind the Yankees in the AL East. The offense brought the power, hitting 3 home runs, but last night belonged to the bullpen. It was a big night for Joe Kelly, who recorded a scoreless 7th inning and struck out Aaron Judge, where 4 pitches exceeded 100 miles per hour. Craig Kimbrell struck out 5 batters and got the save. The Sox now have a 3-game streak, and they hope that momentum continues into tonight. OV?
Karen, thank you very much. Red Sox Baseball in Essen is brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. By Dunkin' Donuts, America runs on Dunkin'. Citizens Bank, visit citizensbank.com. By Mazda, driving matters. Plainridge Park Casino, 45 minutes from Boston. And by Southwest, yes, to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Sox right now at 5-3 on the road trip with 2 to play, including tonight. Here's a look at the Red Sox lineup, brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Mookie Betts will start it. Chris Young in the 2-hole tonight. He's in left field. Xander Bogaerts at short. Andy Ramirez, the DH. Sam Travis at first base. John Farrell getting all those right-handed bats in there. Sandy Leon doing the catching. Josh Rutledge at second. Jackie Bradley in center, and Devin Marrero at third base and batting ninth. Against CC Sabathia. The big 37-year-old, 6-2 in ERA at 4.12.
The Yankee defense is 3rd in the league. They made 29 errors on the season. Chase Headley would be at third base. Didi Gregorius, the shortstop. Stalin Castro at second. And Chris Carter, the first baseman, left to right. Brett Gardner, Aaron Hicks, and Aaron Judge. And Gary Sanchez doing the catching for Sabathia.
Here are the umpires, brought to you by Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Phil Cuzzi has the plate. He is a native of nearby Newark, New Jersey. Carapazza, Ripperger, and Hallian on the bases. And we're available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your TV remote. SAP presented by Toyota. Visit compra2toyota.com to see Toyota deals not seen on TV. And Mookie Betts stands in. First pitch, strike 1, and we're underway.
It's almost like Sanchez didn't see that first pitch from CC Sabathia. Bounced right off his glove.
Betts 264, 9 home runs. He's had some success against Sabathia. Check swing foul, and it's 0-2. He is 5 for 11 against the left-hander. Now the Red Sox owe a huge tip of the cap to that bullpen. Really a dazzling effort by the Red Sox bullpen last night in the 5-4 victory. That's going to be in there, strike 3. Mookie didn't like the call from Cuzzi, but he'll take a seat.
That's a pitch that Sabathia started throwing a few years ago, that cut fastball, and it cuts right inside. As you can see, the late movement to the inside corner to CC Sabathia. Excuse me, to Mookie Betts, and gets the first out of the ball game.
Betts was none too sure, but 1 man gone, and Young now in the lineup tonight. Chris hitting .264 with a couple of home runs. Yankee Stadium about half full at the moment. That one popped into left field, racing out Gregorius. Gardner coming in behind him, and he'll put it away. 2 fast outs for the Red Sox.
And a lot of times that Sabathia's faced the Red Sox, 13-13 in 35 career starts against Boston.
The Red Sox have seen him when he was a young man, when he was a Cy Young winner. Now certainly near the end of his career. He'll be 37 in July. He's not having a bad season. 6-2. He's won 4 in a row.
Last win coming against the Toronto Blue Jays.
Here's Xander Bogaerts. Xander hitting .325 as he gets in tonight for the first time. Andy Ramirez on deck, and the 0-1. Xander's got kind of an odd career line against Sabathia. His on-base percentage is really good against him, .407. But he's only 3 for 19.
At 158 batting average, he has 1 career home run against Sabathia.
But Sabathia's also walked him 8 times. Base is empty and the 0-2. And a line drive base hit. So Xander becomes the first man to reach tonight in front of Hanley Ramirez.
There's that cut fastball again, the same one he tried against Mookie Betts, but this time Bogart's able to get the hands inside the cutter and line it into left field for the base hit. You see the rotation on that fastball coming inside. He gets it on the sweet spot of the bat and picks up the base hit with 2 outs.
Ramirez now with 8 home runs along with a .253 batting average. Number 8 came last night. His second home run in the last 3 games. And we'll see if this is the beginning of something for Hanley, the kind of run he went on last year, which really was the second half as much as anything. As the weather begins to warm up, very nice night here. Temperatures hit the mid-70s today in New York.
It started out as a cloudy, dank morning, but it really cleared into a very nice evening here at Yankee Stadium.
Still plenty of sunshine. Here's the 2-0. That's hit right to Headley at third base to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Red Sox against Sabathia in the first inning. He's out of the lineup tonight. Here's a look at the Yankee lineup brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. Gardner, Hicks, and Judge 1, 2, 3. Then the DH is Holiday, Castro at second. Sanchez doing the catching. Gregorius at short. Chase Headley at third, and Chris Carter at first base. Against the Red Sox starter presented by your New England Audi dealers, Rick Porcello, 3 and 7. A .424 earned run average. He has a string going. High fly to center field. Off to left center now, Jackie Bradley. 1 pitch and 1 out. That string is 18 consecutive road starts of at least 6 innings.
The Red Sox defense is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, and they are 14th in the league with 41 errors on the season. Devin Marrero at third base, Xander Bogaerts the shortstop, Josh Rutledge at second, and Sam Travis at first. Left to right, Chris Young, Jackie Bradley Jr. and Mookie Betts, and Sandy Leone doing the catching for Porcello.
One away, Aaron Hicks now, center fielder, having a very good year. 329 with 8 homers. Gets on base a ton.
Good sinker right there by Porcello. That's exactly where he wants to be, with it down, a little bit out of the strike zone.
0-1 to Hicks. And it's precisely what John Farrell was talking about leading up to this start. Sinker location. And it has to improve for Rick Porcello, and he knows that better than anybody. He said, I'm not far off. I'm grinding through it right now. He said, I need to be sharper, and I'll turn it around, but I have to do it quickly.
Yeah, he has to be down around the knees or below. That's where he makes a living. Any sinker that stays up about belt high is probably going to be taking a long way.
Long ball's been an issue for Porcello. Here's the 1-2 to Hicks. And he puts him away. His first K in the book, and 2 gone.
That's 2 very good curveballs back to Hicks to pick up the strikeout. Last time out, he had 5 strikeouts against the Baltimore Orioles in a loss, but back-to-back breaking balls to Hicks to pick up the strikeout.
Lexus is making a pledge to strikeout hunger. Every time a Sox pitcher strikes out a Yankee hitter, Lexus donates $50 to the Greater Boston Food Bank. Here's the first one for the 28-year-old from New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey. Trickled. Here comes Marrero with the stab, guns and gets him. A smooth first inning. Porcello gets him 1-2-3 in the Bronx. To lead off the second inning, getting to start against the left-hander tonight here in New York. He's off to some start in his big league career, 7 for 14. No homers, no runs batted in yet. Talking to Sam the other day about batting gloves, he said he really never wore them. So he tried them on maybe as a freshman in high school, and he couldn't stand the feeling. He wanted to have that feel of the bat in the hands. He didn't feel like he got it there, and ripped them off and never used them again. Done rather well without them. That one again pops out of the mid of Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez has had trouble with a couple of them. Fastball, not a breaking ball from Sabathia.
And a big lefty with a 2-1 to the shortstop, Gregorius, and an easy stab for the out. That'll bring up Sandy Leon. College football returns to America's most beloved ballpark, the Fenway Gridiron Series, presented by Your Call Football. Tickets are on sale right now. Visit redsox.com/gridiron for more information. And this winning streak for Sabathia, 4 in a row, is the longest he's had since 2012.
Now wins against Kansas City, Tampa Bay, Oakland, and last time, as we mentioned, the Toronto Blue Jays.
He's in his 9th season with the Yankees. And Sandy takes a strike. It's the last year of his contract. Earning about $25 million this year. He's had a long and outstanding career, the 0-1. On deck, Josh Rutledge.
I've seen the Red Sox going to different lineups, especially against left-handed pitching. You mentioned Travis at first base. You got right now Devin Marrero taking over at third base. Rutledge in there because Pedroia is out. But you're seeing a lot of left-right matchups for John Farrell.
Leon is 3 for 5 against this guy in his career, and that one around the outside part of the plate. But we saw more guys last night throwing 96 and up than I've seen in a while.
A lot of power arms in that ball game last night.
The radar gun at Yankee Stadium had Joe Kelly at 103. And that's going to be in there, strike 3. That's at 80 miles an hour on the slider.
Yeah, that's a good pitch right there. That one starts out way outside, and it breaks and picks up the outside corner. And it's one that, as a right-handed hitter, you just kind of give up on. And all of a sudden, the break picks up the corner, and you just caught frozen.
Rutledge at 242, no homers, 7 driven in. I don't care who you are, how much baseball you've watched or have not watched, to see 103 miles an hour posted inside a major league stadium.
That's impressive.
That blows you away. Kimbrel was up there at 99 to 100 in his outing as well last night. Spectacular outing for Craig. And Joe Kelly in the younger years, at the very cusp of life. It's the only shot we have of him. He's not out there. 2 balls and 1 strike. And Pomeranz went 5 innings, so the bullpen knew that they were going to have that kind of a performance if the Red Sox were going to win and get to within 1 game of first place. Up the middle, right underneath Sabathia. Castro will knock it out into left field. There goes Rutledge on his way to second. Here's the throw. The tag is safe. So Castro trying to make a spectacular play and gave the Red Sox an extra base.
That's absolutely great hustle there by Rutledge to go into second base on a ground ball that deflects off the glove of Didi Gregorius. Very impressive to get in the scoring position with 2 outs. There's Gregorius just getting a piece of it, and that will bounce it out toward left field. And the throw comes back in, and there's the hustle and in scoring position.
Red Sox with his second hit. So an RBI opportunity for Jackie Bradley at 234 with 7 homers, but a 7-game hit streak. And Red Sox score first. They're 23-10 for the season. Slicer, but that'll go fouled on the left field line. It's one thing that Jackie Bradley's been doing a lot of during this hitting streak. He's been driving in runs, 10 RBIs during the streak.
And looking pretty good against left-handed pitching also. Yeah,
to the tune of a 370 average against lefties. That's for the season. He's down 2 strikes to CC Sabathia. And the breaking ball freezes him and strikes him out. So a couple of strikeouts looking in the inning for the left-hander, and a man left at second. Red Sox news with Nesson's free text alerts. From breaking news to in-game alerts, you get everything you need to know. To sign up, go to Red Sox 536-536. Message and data rates may apply. Bottom of the second inning, Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, Garen Austin with you. Delightful night here at Yankee Stadium. As Holiday is in, hitting .271 with 12 home runs. Well, you and I really both miss old Yankee Stadium a lot.
Yeah, we do. You know, I'm starting to get used to this place. I really am, but there's nothing to replace the old stadium.
It had a life of its own. Broken bat on the infield, gently hit to Rutledge. One away.
No, it was just the history of the place. I mean, you walked into that ballpark and you just felt all the history of Yankee baseball. It was so special, and it was special to play there, even as a visiting player. It was not easy. The people were right on top of you. It could be brutal, but it was a great place to play.
You could feel it breathing on you, couldn't you?
You really could.
Felt like literally breathing on you. Starlin Castro will hit here at .314 with 9 home runs. Bases empty, 1 down, no score in the second.
Now, so far, Porcello's throwing about 3 or 4 curveballs in this game, and they've all been very good ones.
Coming off a loss to the Orioles in Baltimore, he did go 6 innings, 3 earned, 8 hits, walked 1 man. Trying to get over that hump, the 0-1.
Cut fastball that time, down and away from Castro. He knows he's got to go deep in this game tonight, too, because of the shape of the bullpen.
And Craig Kimbrell is not available after pitching the 4-out save last night in Game 1. And so Matt Barnes will be assigned the role of closer tonight if he gets down to it. He also pitched last night. Gary Sanchez on deck. Certainly one of the top performances of the season for the Red Sox pen. Used the 0-2. Tied him up, made a big pitch, and he struck him out. 92.
Wow, you talk about great movement on a two-seam fastball. I mean, that fooled Castro big time. Watch how much this pitch moves back inside on Castro. He thought it was going to be on the inside corner, and it ends up almost on his hands. He couldn't believe it.
It's like a Greg Maddux pitch.
Boy, that had a lot of movement on it.
So 5 up, 5 down against Porcello brings up Sanchez, 248 hitter with 6 home runs. 0 for 3 lifetime against Rick. Sanchez was 0 for 5 last night. Bit of a skid, just 7 for his last 30.
There's that curveball again. That's about 5 of them now that have been very, very good, and that's a great sign for Porcello, especially early in the game.
The 0-2 to Sanchez. Up the middle, but that's exactly where Rutledge is, behind second base to get him. A very fast inning for Rick Porcello with a couple of ground balls. That's a promising sign. Red Sox win. Plainridge Park Casino donates $777 to the Relay for Life of Greater Attleboro. Scoreless on to the third. Red Sox have the only 2 hits so far. A single by Xander Bogaerts and a double by Josh Rutledge. Devin Marrero could use a couple. Getting 165, 3 home runs. Getting the start at third base with Sandoval sitting.
It's interesting. I'm watching Stalin Castro, the second baseman, where he's playing. It's almost double play depth. And it's almost like he's expecting Marrero to push a ball in his direction.
Count of 2-0. Floated toward right field, and Judge coming in on it. Calling all kids. Kids can attend a game for free at Fenway when they sign up for Kid Nation. Free kids tickets are available for the first 25,000 tickets redeemed. Visit redsox.com/kidnation and sign up today. Mookie Betts 0 for 1, struck out looking in the first inning. Was not overjoyed with Phil Cuzzy on the call. He thought it missed inside. Against the Yankees, his last 10 games, he's hitting .350. Driven well, right center. Hicks on the run. He'll get there, though, into the alley to put that away. 2 up and 2 down.
Pretty solid contact there by Mookie Betts, but certainly not deep enough. 385 out to that area where Aaron Hicks made that play short of the 385. That's getting a breaking ball. Sounded good, but Hicks got a very good jump on it and makes a very easy play out of it.
2 away, Chris Young, 0 for 1 with a fly to left. And the 6'6" left-hander will miss inside. Sabathia now 229 career wins. He is tied with Louis Tiant for 62nd place all time in Major League history. The 1-0. Sabathia won the Cy Young in 2007. He was a Cleveland Indian back then. Went 19-7 that year.
And in those days, he could really fire that fastball. He was up around 97 with it. That last pitch, a changeup at 84.
And here's 2-1 to Young. He had a notion, but he stayed away from it. They do appeal, and it's a swing and a miss. Carapazza rings him up there to count 2-2.
Chris Young can just shake his head on that last one. Let's take a look from the side and see exactly what they saw here. Very close.
Up the middle again, and again off the glove of Castro. It's the second time that's happened to him tonight. He's gone diving up the middle and got leather on it, but could not make the play.
Yeah, they were in the shift. Obviously, you can see where Castro is playing over there, and he goes to his right. The ball looked like it bounced up higher on him than he thought it was going to, and the base hit for Young. So a hit in every inning so far for the Red Sox.
Chris Young 1 for 2. Sends up Xander Bogaerts. He had a base hit to left in the first inning. He has 3 home runs in his last 8 games in this ballpark. Red Sox went back-to-back last night. They also had 3 in the victory. To win, the Red Sox will forge a first-place tie with these Yankees. Deep short. Gregorius trying to go to second. Close, and got him on the first play to retire the side. No runs to hit. 1 man left. Still no score here, but John Farrell has decided not to challenge it. No score at Yankee Stadium. Here's the play again at second base. getting to know Team Netherlands. This list of guys. Now, Gregorius was born in the Netherlands. He spent most of his life growing up in Curacao. Aruba and Curacao, both Dutch islands in the Caribbean. So here's your lesson for the night. Gregorius hitting .313 with 4 home runs. Very solid season. There's a high, deep drive to right center field. Jackie Bradley with a long run to the wall. It sails, and she is gone. His 5th home run. That makes it 1-0 Yankees.
That's a 9-game hitting streak now for Gregorius, and hard to tell. It looked like that might have been a changeup that was down in the zone that he golfed out of here. Take one more look at it. It is a changeup. It is starting to dip down, and he just does a pretty nice piece of hitting, getting this ball out of the ballpark into the bullpen area.
That's where the ball really sails in this stadium. Line shot left center field. That's going to settle down for a base hit by Chase Headley. Came in with nice career numbers against Porcello. He's now 9 for 23 off him.
He didn't wait around either. Gets that first fastball and jumps all over it for the base hit to center field.
Rick Porcello's now surrendered 13 home runs. That leads the ball club. That's where you want to hit it here. Where Gregorius hit his out into that bullpen. It's almost like there's a jet stream out there. Here's Chris Carter, 183 with 5 homers. Big, strong first baseman. 0 for 6 lifetime against Porcello, though. He rips a line shot on the move. Young. That'll dunk down for a hit. Runners will be held at first and second. Oh, Carter didn't see that Headley had stopped it, and now he's trying to get back. Marrero's going to gun, and a bad throw. He fired it up the line. Now Carter takes off for second. And Headley down to third. And the Red Sox ruined an opportunity to pick up a certain out.
Yeah, it looked like Marrero should have got rid of that ball a little bit sooner over there at first base to try to get Carter, who had for some reason gone on to second base. There's Marrero. He looks right back at the runner. He's trying to run him back. All this time, Carter is way off first base. By the time he spins to throw it, it's going to get by Sam Travis. Here's the mess where it stops. The runner at second holds up. Carter doesn't think so. He keeps going to second base. The throw comes in. Now you've got a man at second base, but you've really got a man picked off first. And it was too late of a throw by Marrero. So now you've really got trouble second and third with nobody out.
It's another error on a Red Sox third baseman after the base hit by Carter. So second and third, nobody out, a run in. Gardner the batter. And trouble for Porcello. Gardner 0 for 1. He's flied to the center fielder Bradley, and the first one in there for strike 1. He came into the ball game a .333 hitter against Rick. 12 for 36 with a home run.
Right now, the job for Gardner is obviously try to drive in 2 runs, but if you're going to make it out, try to make it to the right side. The infield is back with the exception of Travis. You get a run home and you get the man at second and third with less than 2 outs.
0-1. Lifted foul out of play.
Gardner was shooting the other way, all the way with that swing. Fastball outside.
He's had a big home run year with 12 of them already. Didn't even drive in a run the first 18 games of last season. He's already driven in 26 this year. 2 men in scoring position in Headley and Carter. Lash foul again.
Porcello going for that swing and miss pitch right there, that high fastball that he likes to throw a lot of high or above. That time Gardner able to make contact but foul it off.
Don't miss WB Mason Extra Innings Live right after the game. TC Eck and Steve will break it all down. You'll hear from Rick Porcello and from John Farrell. whatever, whenever, wherever. Who but W.B. Mason? 2 strikes on the leadoff man, Gardner. Aaron Hicks on deck. Yankees in the lead 1-0 on the Gregorius home run. Porcello really slowing down his tempo here. Finally says yes to Leon. And a 1-2. The Yankees beat Porcello 3-1 back in late April at Fenway. Although he pitched well, he went 6 2/3, just 2 earned runs, struck out 9, gave up only 5 hits. That was a tough loss. He's allowed 3 hits in this inning alone, though. Trying to put away Gardner. 2-2. Porcello coming in at 3-7. A year ago at this time he was 7-2 on his way to the Cy Young. Even up on Gardner. Here's the 2-2, and he struck him out. Came back at him with a heater and fanned him.
That's that 2-seam fastball again. Left-handers give up on it. Unfortunately, got the call. It was low on the inside part of the plate, and you can see Gardner jumping back from it. But the 7th pitch does pick up the corner. I'll tell you, he's had a lot of movement on that 2-seamer today.
Third strikeout for the Red Sox right-hander brings up Hicks. He struck out in the first inning. Hicks starting in center field tonight. When he gets a chance to start, he's a .336 hitter. He's been a nice surprise for the Yankees. It's a bullet foul. That one ran in on him. Headley on at third and Carter at second, although fortunate to be there.
Yeah, Headley at third base. The only ball he probably would not go on with one on is a ground ball to third base or back to the pitcher.
And a 1-1. Fantasy baseball fans, you can visit NESN.com/fantasy for the latest news, lineup advice, and more on your Yahoo Fantasy League. Tomorrow night, Game 3, the finale of this road trip. That's David Price on the mound against Michael Pineda. There's a chance to be an outstanding duel. Red Sox will finally get home after that for a few days. Not for long, though. 1-2. Did he check? Yes, he did. Tom Hallian gives the safe sign, so it's 2-2 on Hicks.
Now once again going upstairs trying to get that fastball strikeout in. Checking his swing without doubt is Hicks, but was tempted at that high fastball.
Very relaxed David Price. Will not be the case tomorrow night. 2-2. Hit hard but foul. Drew Pomeranz last night pitched 5 innings. Threw a lot of pitches, 123 pitches. That's a career high for Drew. but he got the win. As the Red Sox bullpen continued to pitch extremely well. Aaron Judge lurking in the on-deck area for the Yankees. Runners at second and third, one down. Porcello trying to make it back-to-back Ks. Instead of pop-up, Xander Bogaerts backpedaling. He's under, and the runners stay put at second and third, and there are two gone.
Now, very good pitch by Porcello. You know, he's elevating that fastball, trying to get a strikeout with 2 men in scoring position. He gets the next best thing, a pop-up to an infielder where nobody can score. So one more big out to go with 2 men in scoring position in this inning.
Ace Ticket, Boston's trusted source for Red Sox tickets, bleachers to boxes, all with a 200% guarantee. Treat yourself for someone special with tickets to a game. Visit aceticket.com now or call 1-800-MY-SEATS. Judge is 0 for 1. First base is open. 1 for 3 with a home run against Porcello in his very young career. The rookie outfielder. He'll take ball 1.
Porcello there trying to tempting to swing at some breaking ball that is well off the outside part of the plate.
Holiday would be next. Judge leading the major leagues with 18 home runs. He made a catch in right field last night. He went slamming into the wall, held onto the baseball, and had you feeling sorry for the fence. At his size, 6'7", 282 pounds. Head took a pretty good knock. 2-0. So far, he has not seen anything really that he likes, and the count goes to 3-0.
He's showing good discipline at the plate too. I mean, he knows first base is open. Now they're going to go ahead and put him down there with the count 3-0 and start all over with Holiday.
So there's ball 4, and they're all filled up.
I mean, he's got to realize, even at a young age, if first base open, they don't really want to pitch to me. They're trying to get me to chase bad pitches. He would not do so, and they eventually walk him.
Holiday's 0 for 1. He is grounded to second. 1 for 4 with a double last night. But no place to put him. 2 down. So far, the only run in was the leadoff homer by Gregorius. The single by Headley, the single and the throwing error by Marrero to put runners at second and third, but then Porcello struck out Gardner. He got Hicks to pop up. The intentional walk of Judge, and now 1 strike on Holiday. 1-1. Last half of the 3rd inning at Yankee Stadium. And Porcello with a 1-1. High fly ball right field, but there's Mookie Betts. He has it lined up and makes the catch. That's some effort by Rick Porcello to get out of that with only 1 run. He leaves him loaded. moment honoring the 07 Red Sox world champions. In game number 58, the Red Sox would lose to the A's 3-2. Tim Wakefield with a quality start, but he took the loss. Uke had 2 hits and an RBI for the Sox. Yankees in the lead here 1-0, but Rick Porcello really buckling down with the bases loaded and getting out of any further damage in that inning. Might be one of those where you look back several innings from now and that was the key moment. Andy Ramirez 0 for 1. He is lined out to the third baseman Headley. Two for 14 lifetime against big CC Sabathia. And the 1-1. Tried to hold up. That's a swing and a miss, actually.
And tries that cut fastball inside and gets the swing from Ramirez.
Sabathia, the active major league strikeout leader with nearly 2,800. 1-2 and another check swing. Looks like he held that one, and he did. In his last start at Toronto, Sabathia passed Frank Tanana for 21st on the all-time list. Now that was a fastball.
Well, Frank had 2 different careers. One before he got hurt, which was a blazing fastball. Then he became a pitcher after surgery.
3-2. I remembered watching him when he had that fastball.
High fastball, great curveball.
Oof. Travis on deck. And a payoff pitch to Hanley. Routine ground ball. Gregorius will dig that in, get him. One away in the 4th. MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium. Visit MLB.TV for details. Travis is 0 for 1. He's grounded to the shortstop, so he's now 7 for 15 in his major league career.
Sabathia is taking off a knee brace that he had on. He's had enough of that. Or apparently it broke, and they've got to do some repairs to it.
He had knee surgery before this season. He had won only 18 games over the previous 3 seasons through 2014. 2014 he made only 8 starts because of knee surgery.
They will immediately go into the clubhouse, make the proper repairs, and probably get it back on between innings if they can work that quickly.
In the meantime, he has 1 down and a 1-0 lead here in the 4th. And the rookie Sam Travis. Fastball at 91. Phil Cuzzy giving a little something extra on that plate. Travis became the first Boston hitter to score in each of his first 4 career starts since Sam Horn, 1987. Weekly hit, Carter, and nobody covering, nobody there at first base, and that's a gift hit for Sam Travis.
Yeah, Sabathia is supposed to be the one trying to cover first base, but he really made no effort to do so. Chris Carter coming off the bag as he should to make the play on the ground ball, but Sabathia was just kind of standing around watching the play develop. I think he realized that he could not beat Travis to first base, so just stopped.
Moments after that knee brace issue.
Also, left hand is falling off to the third base side. It takes them a while to get going back toward first base.
Sandy Leon, he was caught looking at a 3rd strike in the 2nd inning, making him 3 for 6 against CC in his career. Rutledge on deck. Red Sox do have 4 hits off them. So they have a hit in every inning.
That's 2 pretty nasty pitches to get ahead of Leon. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 away, 1 down and in.
With the win last night, Sox are 15-15 on the road, so right at 500 on the road. 17-10 at Fenway Park. And 1 game out of first. Sox will be coming home after tomorrow night's finale here. And returning to take on the Detroit Tigers on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Fenway. 1-2 fouled away. The Phillies will then be in for 2. Then the Red Sox go back on the road again for a 3-city trip. Not a 3-hour tour, a 3-city trip. Philly, Houston, Kansas City. A lot of travel here lately. Here comes the 1-2 from the lefty. 2-2. Travis on at first base. Big hole on the right side. Castro in on it. Flips to second. That's 1. On to first. They turn the double play. 4-6-3. Side retired. So the Red Sox have been able to do nothing so far with the big lefty. Yankee series is brought to you by Amtrak. Save up to 25% with Sabre fares at Amtrak.com. Jerry Remy, Dave O'Brien, Garrett Austin, Yankee Stadium, game 2 of 3. And the Yankees with that 1-0 lead on the Didi Gregorius home run off Porcello in the 3rd inning. Now he'll get Starlin Castro to lead things off here in the 4th. Castro, a strikeout victim his first time up, but he fouls it away, strike 1. Porcello came in having allowed 96 hits and 74 1/3 to lead the league in hits given up. So far tonight, he has allowed 3. Trying to get back to that form of a season ago that led him to a 22-4 record. And a sensational year, the 0-2. Lunging foul.
So far for me in this game, Porcello's got very good stuff. I mean, I know there's a home run allowed to Gregorius, but I didn't think that was that bad of a pitch. It was a changeup down in a way that he got out there and hooked. But the movement on his fastball tonight is exceptional. His curveball's been good.
Shot out to left center, well struck. Bradley takes off, and so does the baseball up against the fence. Jackie knocks it down back to the track. May cost an extra base. Castro to third, and he is there standing up. Now Bradley went for it off the fence as it carried him back. He got leather on it, but then he swatted it back to the warning track.
Yeah, there's a case where the fastball remained up in the zone. You can see it was supposed to be a four-seam fastball upstairs and not high enough as Castro jumps all over it. Now the ball caroms off the wall, and Bradley just comes off the webbing of his glove. That allows one more base, so that may go as a double and an error. We'll see.
Now Marrero tried to deke him because he wasn't going to slide.
No.
Came in standing up. They're going to rule it a triple all the way. And here's Sanchez. He's 0 for 1. He's grounded to second. Make him 0 for 4 lifetime against Rick Porcello. Fly ball of decent depth would add another run. He golfs that one. A line shot, base hit in center field. That's going to bring in the run. Castro will score. Sanchez with his 16th RBI. 2-0 Yankees.
Now Sanchez picks up his first career hit off Porcello. Was 0 for 4 prior to this at bat, and again it's the sinking fastball this time. It's down in the zone, but that's pretty good hitting right there by Sanchez. Just drops it in front of Jackie Bradley. That run will score with no problem.
So the Yankees have scored in each of the last 2 innings and have all 5 of their hits in the last 2 innings. Here's Gregorius. He belted the home run in the 3rd. Pops that one up into left field near the line. Young on the charge, and in fair territory grabs that. That's the first out in the 4th inning. So Gregorius very anxious on this occasion. A 1-pitch out.
You got to be thinking, you know, if you hit a changeup for a home run, which he did his last time up, you got to figure he's coming back with a fastball on the first pitch next time, and he swings at the fastball and pops it up to left field.
Chase Headley 1 for 1 with a base hit. 2-0 New York in the 4th.
Red Sox in the shift. 3 players on the right side. Bogarts to the second base side. Only Marrero left on the grass at third base.
Headley certainly a double play candidate. Again, Rick Porcello has gone at least 6 innings in each of his last 18 road starts. That's the longest such streak in the big league. But he's had a difficult time picking up wins. Popped up. Marrero to the stands, but it's off into the seats. Great seats are still available for Dead & Company at Fenway on June 17 and 18. That's part of the Plainridge Park Casino Fenway Concert Series. Visit redsox.com/Dead & Company to purchase yours today. Sanchez on at first. Base hit to right center. Runners are going to hold at first and second, and that's their third hit in the inning.
Boy, Headley's had very good success against Porcello. 364 with a home run coming into the game. 2 for 2 tonight. Both hits on fastballs. Right between the shift that time. Little collision out here between Betts and Bradley, but no advance at second base by Sanchez.
More trouble for Porcello for the second straight inning, though, and here's Carter, who's part of the uprising last inning with a base hit, advancing to second on the throwing mistake by Marrero. Carter belted 41 home runs over in the National League last year. He'll take a ball. Red Sox a game behind the Yankees in the East, their smallest deficit since the end of the day on the 20th of April. 1-0. That disappeared on him. 1-1. Orioles just 2.5 back, so everybody in the division within 5.5 for first in the AL East. He's in front 1-2 on Carter. Gardner on deck. Sanchez at second, Headley at first. And a 1-2 coming. Tonight after Red Sox coverage on NESN Sports Today, we'll save you time with all the latest news, including a recap from day 2 of Pat's minicamp. NESN Sports Today presented by People's United Bank. See what know-how can do. Porcello, a guy's gotten a lot of double plays turned in his career. Would love one right now, the 2-2. Instead, a high deep drive into left field. Young back, turning, kissed that one goodbye. Carter with a 3-run homer. Second home run allowed by Porcello in the last 2 innings.
Well, we talked about high sinkers going a long way, and that's going to be the case here for Porcello. See the location of this 2-seam fastball. It stays up in the zone, and those are generally hit very hard. And for this, in this case, hit hard and hit out of the ballpark.
That makes it 5-0 New York. Carter with his 6th. Well, last night you wondered about his home run off the end of the bat. Kind of one-handed that thing out to left field. You don't wonder about this one.
No, he took an outside pitch last night and just hooked it right out of the ballpark. That just was not a well-executed pitch by Porcello.
Gardner's 0 for 2. Porcello allowed 2 home runs in his last start as well. It's a real issue for him. Now allowed 15. And the 1-1. That skips away. The 2-1 to Gardner. All even on their leadoff hitter, and he's another guy in their lineup, and there are a few of them who've had success against Porcello. Chase Headley, Brett Gardner in particular. Gardner just came up with his first 2 hits against Porcello in his career. Here's the 2-2. Chopper. Here's Travis to glove it. Toss to the pitcher. Going to be close. He got him. Gardner diving down to try and beat it. Ruled out by the first base umpire Carapazza.
Yeah, a little too close for comfort right there. As you can see, Porcello coming to the bag, but look at Gardner. He goes into that head first slide, and it looks like Porcello just got the front of the bag before the hand got on the bag. Yeah, it was clearly an out, but very close.
Gardner with the hustle up the line brings up Hicks now. He has struck out and popped to short. 0 for 2. 5-0 New York. So the Sox down here in the 4th inning. Carter's home run traveled 404 feet. Hicks has struck out and popped up, but he's a guy who has a very high on-base percentage. A .439 at second, only behind Mike Trout in Major League Baseball. Trout's hurt right now, and his OBP at .461. He's a guy who can play all 3 outfield positions. Two down and the base is empty, but 4 runs in. And the count 2-2 on Hicks.
We'll change up that time, going down and away from Hicks. Well, the Red Sox going in a shift and move Marrero to the second base side.
2-2 and popped up along the left field line without slice foul. Remember, now you can get expert emergency care without leaving Fenway Park at the Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, the first aid station located behind Section 12 in the lower concourse. Visit bidmc.org. A lot of high stress pitches the last couple of innings for Rick Porcello. Got out of a bases loaded jam in the 3rd. In this inning, he's allowed a triple, 2 singles, and a 3-run homer. Not what Carl Willis had in mind tonight. And the 3-2. And he walked him with a breaking ball. So Hicks is on. Carl's going to come out for a mound visit before Aaron Judge digs in. Last time up with first base open, runners at second and third. Porcello walked him. Don't miss a game when the Red Sox hit the road. You can import the NESN Red Sox calendar into your favorite desktop, web, or mobile calendar. You get automatic updates, game reminders, and more. Visit NESN.com/schedule to import the schedule today. So Judge, the batter, he's 0 for 1 with that intentional pass. And his rookie season off to an amazing start. Named the American League Rookie of the Month for May at .347 for May with 7 homers, 17 RBIs. Won the first 2 American League Rookies of the Month in the American League.
Might have got away with one right there. That's one I think Judge would like to have back again. That was a slider that just kind of stayed out over the plate. You see the breaking ball was supposed to be away, stayed middle in, and Judge fouled it off, fortunately.
Aaron Judge out of Linden, California, played his college ball at Fresno State. Last year he did appear in 27 games with the Yankees, 84 at bats, hit 4 homers, he only batted .179. In college, though, he played for the Brewster Whitecaps of the Cape Cod League in 2012. So he has a bit of a New England connection. 0-2.
Back-to-back high fastballs. He chased one, laid off the second one.
You've started every once in a while the MVP chants when Judge gets up. Forget about Rookie of the Year. They've jumped ahead to MVP. And that's in there for strike 3. So Porcello sits him down, but a rough inning for the Red Sox right-hander. He gives up 4 runs, 5-0 Yankees. Been committed to supporting New England communities. That's why we're proud to contribute to the Red Sox Foundation, which has distributed more than $93 million to provide kids and families in need with health, education, recreation, and social services. 5th inning, Sox down 5-0 here in the Bronx, and Rutledge leading things off to center field, dead away. Hicks backing up, still back. He misread it onto the warning track. It caroms off the wall. He's heading into third base now. Hicks with a long throw, but not nearly in time. And Rutledge, who is credited with a double in the 2nd inning, has a triple here in the 5th.
Yeah, it seemed like Hicks misjudged that a little bit in center field. You know, hit harder than he anticipated. By the time he got on his horse to get back there, it was way too late. And the ball drops in for a 3 bases. So a double and a triple for Rutledge out of that 7th spot in the Red Sox batting order.
Sox trying to climb back into this thing in the middle innings. Jackie Bradley now the hottest Red Sox hitter with a 7-game hitting streak. Been a while since Josh hit a triple.
One more look at Hicks in the outfield. You see him stop right there, and that really cost him. He was surprised at how hard that ball and how deep it was hit.
Bradley struck out first time up. Again, Jackie Bradley has been producing runs during this hitting streak. getting his RBIs. He's now up to 24. And the 1-1. Oh, barehanded play by Sabathia. The runner holding at third, and he gets him at first base. Well, you could hear that slap into that hand of his all the way up here.
Yeah, it's always dangerous, but I mean, pitchers can't help themselves, right? I mean, it's a natural reaction. Ball bounces right into the bare hand, checks the runner at third, and gets the out at first base. One big hop right back into his hand with a lot of spin on it, and he just engulfs that baseball.
So one away. Rutledge could not score. Here's Marrero. He's 0 for 1, having flied to right. Sox have a hit in every inning, but no runs yet against Sabathia. Mookie Betts on deck. Marrero could use something good to happen. He's 0 for his last 8. He's 3 for 26 on this road trip. Red Sox are 5 and 3 on the trip. And the lefty with the 1-0.
Burying Marrero inside with that fastball about 4 or 5 inches off the inside corner.
Infield backed up. They would concede the run. And a fly ball into right. Judge has to come in on it. He'll make it in shallow right field. And a decent throw home, and the runner has to hold at third base. So Marrero can't bring him in.
Yeah, no intention to score on that. The ball not hit deep enough. Judge coming in on it. And all you do there is try to draw a bad throw. See the fly ball back to third base to tag his Rutledge, but he's not going anywhere. He's just trying to fake and draw the throw and hope that it gets by the catcher.
So it falls on Mookie Betts, who has struck out and flied out tonight. Sox trailing 5-0 here in the middle game. David Price tomorrow night against Michael Pineda. The CVS Health Charity Classic has added a 2-day family-friendly food festival. It's called Crave Rhode Island, June 15 and 16 at the Dunkin' Donuts Center in Providence. For tickets and information, visit cvshealthcharityclassic.com. Mookie with a little 3-game hit streak going right now. He'll take a strike. And the 0-1 pitch to Betts. Off the end of the bat, foul and back out of play.
It's been pretty impressive with the fastballs. It's been 92, 93 consistently with the fastballs from Sabathia tonight. That's a bit of an uptick from a year ago, I think.
Now this crowd is asking for a strikeout. Here comes the 0-2. Popped him up instead. Gregorius, the shortstop, calls everybody off. Well, the Red Sox got a lead-off triple, but could not bring that run in. Rutledge stranded at third. ticket through 4. He's allowed 5 earned runs and 2 homers. The last of which was a 3-run shot by Chris Carter in the 4th. Matt Holliday leading off here. He is grounded out, flied out. Starlin Castro on deck. High pop to right. Betts will move in on it. And Mookie keeps on running to haul it in for the out. Holliday retired. Let's get downstairs to Guerin.
Thanks, Opie. Well, John Farrell said that it was a good work day for Carson Smith. Smith threw 20 pitches off the mound to hitters standing in. Now, the hitters did not swing because they didn't want to bring in the cage because it would interfere with analytical readings like release point and velocity. Smith said that it was a big step. He said that all of his pitches felt good. His elbow feels good. He feels like he's really turned the corner since it's been a year. Smith will throw again on Saturday, and depending on how that comes out, they will determine the next step, and that could be a rehab assignment. And guys, a quick update on Eduardo Rodriguez. He threw out to 120 feet, and John Farrell said that is a really good sign, and he made the announcement that Brian Johnson will start on Friday.
Good news, of course, on Brian Johnson too, Guerin. Thank you very much, because he had that cramp in the hamstring, and initially it didn't look too good. Turned out to be much better news for him. That one socked foul by Castro.
Also sounds like good news on Eduardo Rodriguez, able to go out there and throw it, what you say, 120, and that's very encouraging too. It was hard to tell with the report yesterday that came out. You know, first it was something like 4 weeks he was going to do nothing, but then it changed.
Bounding ball behind the bag. Moreau's got to get rid of it quickly and out of time. Castro with a base hit.
Yeah, Castro still has pretty good speed. I mean, he's not considered a base stealer, but gets down the line, and that ball was right down the line. Nice pick at first base, you can see by Travis, but clearly beat by Castro.
One out single for Castro will send up Sanchez. You know, we hardly saw Carson Smith at all, too. He only made 3 appearances last year before he blew out the elbow. So it's easy to forget what a high caliber pitcher he was the previous year with Seattle, when he appeared in 70 games and put up an ERA of 2.31. But what really blew you away was the strikeouts. 92 strikeouts in 70 innings.
Yeah, very hard throw with a hot breaking ball, and you're right, Dave. You know, he was so impressive with Seattle when the Red Sox got him. I mean, it really looked to strengthen the bullpen, but unfortunately the injuries have held him back.
Carson, a big kid, 6'5", about 230. Going to be exciting to get him back. He's talked about how he's felt about the deal, the trade that brought him to Boston. It was the Wade Miley deal in 2015, and how excited he was and remains to be a member of the Red Sox. But he says, I haven't done anything yet, and it's frustrated him. He's getting closer. Out of Midland, Texas, and Texas State University. Sanchez on the night, 1 for 2 with a single to drive in a run. 5-0 New York in the 5th. Sanchez, one of the many Yankees who doesn't get cheated with his cut. Stay tuned for Red Sox Final, presented by Plainridge Park Casino. TC Eck and Steve will break down the key moment in tonight's game and preview David Price's start tomorrow against the Yankees. And a 2-2 to Sanchez. Line drive and a foul ball off that chalk line. Red Sox are 11-4 in their last 15 games. Have won 3 in a row. Playing well coming into this one. Certainly pitching very, very well. But facing a sizable hole tonight. Trying to climb out of that. Castro getting his lead at first, not running. Gobble up by Marrero. The second one on the first. They'll turn to double play. 5-4-3, and Porcello gets out of that inning. Is brought to you by Franklin Sports, the official batting glove of Major League Baseball. McDonald's, any McCafe bakery muffin with any size hot or iced coffee, just $1.99. Subaru of New England, supplying all-wheel drive vehicles with passion for summer travels. Digital Federal Credit Union, see what DCU can save you. And by Ford Trucks, built Ford tough, the official truck of the Boston Red Sox. Sox trailing 5-0 to the 6th inning we go. And Chris Young 0 for 1 after his first at bat when he flied to left, and he came back and singled in the third. He'll be followed by Bogarts and then Ramirez. Trying to do something with Sabathia. Didn't mean to there. A little check swing ground ball back to the mound, and he gets him.
Now Sabathia's been pretty busy. Barehanded play last inning, and now a soft little ground ball in his direction off a changeup that he's able to field before it gets on the dirt of the mound. And get the very easy out at first base.
His best year with the Yankees, probably 2010. His second year here, he went 21-7, 3.18 ERA. Yankees won their last World Series that year. So he really came through when he needed to. Been a fine pitcher for a long time. Xander Bogaerts 1 for 2 with a single. Nobody aboard and one down, and he'll look at a ball. Remember, he lost that brace. Seemed to come apart, and looks like he's got it back on. A bit of a fold on that right knee.
It takes a while to get used to working with a brace. You know, a guy hasn't done it in a long time, but he's had those knee problems, and it becomes part of what you do every 5 days, and you finally get used to it. And then it feels strange when you don't have it on. But they make them so nice today. I mean, they're so lightweight. It's almost like you can't feel it at all.
The 3-1 to Xander. High fly, dead away center field. Hicks going to race all the way back to the track, feeling for the wall, and he's there to make the play. Earlier tonight, Rutledge hit one over his head.
Yeah, wrong part of the ballpark right there for Bogaerts. That ball hit very, very well, but it's 408 here to straightaway center field. That ball hit close to 400 feet.
Fans, don't miss NESN Live tomorrow evening at 5:30 on NESN. Complete coverage of Patriots mini camp. NESN Live presented by Cross Insurance. 2 down, Hanley Ramirez. He's lined to third and grounded to the shortstop. This one hit softly. Headley in, up and over. That's a fast inning for Sabathia. Red Sox here in the 6th inning go 1-2-3. DD Perks. Earn a free beverage when you enroll. Speed past the line with on-the-go ordering. DD Perks. Everyone deserves an upgrade. Download the Dunkin' app today. Speeding past the line may not be possible at all locations. Bottom of the 6th inning. Gregorius is homered and flied to left. Chris Carter has also crushed a 3-run homer in this one off of Porcello, and it's 5-0 New York. And the 0-1. This guy had a tough job, the man who replaced Derek Jeter.
He's done a heck of a job doing it, too.
316, a little bit of power on occasion. And plays very solid defensively.
That's the thing that impressed me when he came over to replace Jeter. You know, the increase in range. Plus, Jeter was at the end of his career. It didn't have the same range he had earlier. And then you saw Gregorius come in and make plays that you hadn't seen made in a couple of years. And I'm not trying to downgrade Jeter. I mean, just the fact that he was getting older.
Bogaerts calls off Marrero and makes the play for the out. Time for a game break, brought to you by Jordan's, the furniture store of the Boston Red Sox. Here's Tom Caron. So Machado got spiked. Here's Chase Headley. Couple of singles. He has scored a run. .233 with 3 home runs. Looks like he sees Porcello quite well. That fastball in there for a strike. Yeah, there's no doubt that Derek Jeter was a fine defensive shortstop. He'd won a Gold Glove, but down the stretch those last few years of his career, the Yankees really had to live with that lack of range. That's in there for strike 3. So Headley will take a seat.
Yeah, I did notice a big downgrade, obviously, in his offense. I mean, you know, he was still, you know, not the same hitter he was, but still a very, very good hitter.
Yep.
But you could notice the difference in his range defensively. And number 2 will be up in Yankee history forever.
Well, good night for this man so far. Carter, as he pops a foul, he has crushed the 3-run homer and single. So 6 home runs for the first baseman. Brett Gardner on deck. Yankees ahead 5-0 in the 6th. He launches a fly ball deep to right field. Betts all the way back to the wall, and a leap, and Mookie Betts came down with it. He made the catch. A sensational grab to Rob Carter. Well, that was perfect timing. The leap. And that ball, boy, it looked like it might have been touched by a fan.
It did look that way.
On top 5-0. Mookie Betts just made a sensational catch high up against the fence in right field on a ball that with the naked eye looked like it was gone. However, we questioned as we went to break if a fan touched it. He certainly did.
Yeah, left hand and right into the webbing of the glove of Mookie Betts. And it certainly looks to me like he's reaching over the fence, which would make it fan interference, but it wouldn't make any difference because Mookie caught the ball.
So Joe Girardi went out, and the umpires have been huddling ever since. This is subject to review. Fan interference is. Question is, what's the call here? On the field of play, it was a catch in the end of the inning, and the Red Sox are preparing to bat going to the 7th.
Well, if the ball was over the fence and there was contact with the fan, it would be a home run.
Right. Well, Mookie Betts with the catch. Here's another look. think this fan is going to find himself escorted out of the ballpark. He funnels it right into the glove.
Yeah, it looks like he did reach over into the field of play and put it right from his left hand into Mookie's glove.
He's still here at the moment because they have not officially ruled it fan interference, but yeah, that's the case. If there's no fan interference, he can stay, I guess.
Well, there's been some crazy ones here at Yankee Stadium, haven't there?
There sure have. Some infamous ones. So there will be no review on this play. What if he gets to stay, though? You know, you think about Jeffrey Mayer. He's grabbing his seat, so he's going to get to hang. He's going to watch the rest of the game because it's not ruled fan interference, even though the replay indicates he interfered with it. Right into the glove of Mookie Betts. One of the stranger, outstanding defensive plays you're going to see. So on to the 7th inning, and the Sox batting here. That was a fly out to right field by Chris Carter, who was looking for his second home run. Here's Sam Travis on the night, 1 for 2 with a base hit. Sandy Leon on deck, then Josh Rutledge. Red Sox trying to get to Sabathia. He's been real tough. He's tossing a 5-hit shutout. Pitch count in very good shape, just 72. And the left-hander's 2-0 pitch. That's up top for a ball. Travis with an infield hit in the 4th inning when nobody covered first base on his chopper to the first baseman. Carter had to come off the bag. The base was unguarded, and Sabathia just never got there. He's looking for his 230th career win tonight. Ground ball pulled down to Headley at third base, and he'll get him. One away in the Sox 7th.
Well, this has been a nice, easy performance, hasn't it, tonight by CC Sabathia.
Hey, Friday at 5:30, don't miss Friday Night Fenway, presented by Budweiser. TC will be joined by Sox manager John Farrell live for an exclusive interview. Be sure to visit Game On June 9 and 13th before every game for a chance to be selected as the Budweiser Fan of the Game. Budweiser, this Bud's for you. Leon tonight is hit into a double play. He's also struck out looking. One ball and one strike. Sabathia's been a man in command. He's not walked anybody.
And he's getting, all his pitches over. His fastball, his cut fastball, his breaking ball. Not a lot of changeups in this game for him, but when he has thrown, they've been effective.
One, two, and he strikes him out looking.
Yep, backdoor breaking ball again. Started to the outside part of the plate, hook it back on the corner, and just completely freeze Leon. Second time he's done that to him in the game tonight.
So it'll set up Josh Rutledge, who has a double and a triple. Ace is clean with 2 away, and that breaking ball bends in for a strike. One home, and he hooks the ground ball to Gregorius. Not a great throw, but a good hold there by Carter to get him, and the Red Sox are done in order once again. Toyota's website for deals, buyatoyota.com. Great folks at Sullivan Tire and Complete Auto Service. And by Lexus and the Lexus Strikes Out Hunger program. Red Sox down here 5-0 in the 7th inning. Mookie Betts credited with a terrific leaping catch to rob Chris Carter of a potential home run in the 6th inning. And I'm wondering why that play was not reviewed.
Yeah, there's no question Girardi was, talking to the umpires about seeing if that ball was out of the ballpark and then knocked back in by the fan.
I guess the umpires assumed that he was going to catch it anyway, because fan interference is subjective to changing the course of play of the ball in play from what is expected. So if you want to get right down in the weeds, I guess that's the reason why they didn't. That's the only thing that really makes sense at this point.
Yeah, I mean, to me, watching it over and over again, it just seems to me that the fan did reach over into the the ballpark field of play and deflected that ball into Mookie's glove, and I thought it was the correct call right there. Now, a different angle may show something different, but from that angle, it looks like he did reach over the fence.
The classic was the guy next to him with a T-shirt. You caught a look at that as we watched the replay. What? Question mark. I love that.
Yeah.
That's perfect. What? What is this? And he's a Sox fan. In any event, 5-0 Yankees here in the 7th. And as they come up to bat, top of the order, Brett Gardner. He's gone 0 for 3. And he will take strike 1. Blaine Boyer. And the Red Sox pen. Now once again, Porcello has gone 6 innings, but This is not the kind of start he wants to hang his hat on. He has allowed 5 runs, 8 hits.
You know, it looked to me in the early going, first couple of innings, that his stuff was really, really good. You know, his sinker was moving a lot. His changeup was very good. His curveball was very good.
Pops that one up down the left field line, drifting, and it's going to drop foul.
And then suddenly things changed. You know, the sinker started to come up a little bit in the zone, and that's when he started to get hurt. The ball by Gregorius, and he hit for a home run. I still don't think it was that bad of a pitch. It was a changeup down and away, and I thought it was just a good piece of hitting.
In that 4th inning, a triple, 2 singles, a 3-run homer. He also walked a man. And that's the inning that really burned him, because he worked out of a bases loaded jam after giving up a home run the inning prior to that. Looked like it could be a big moment in the game for Rick Porcello, but then he gave up the 4 runs the following inning. Red Sox have managed only 5 hits themselves. High fly down the right field line, but he pushed that one foul.
Tried to drop that slider down and in on Gardner, and Gardner just out in front of it a little bit, pulling it foul down that right field line. See the location of the pitch, down and in, and Gardner just pulling it foul.
Hicks on deck in the 1-2. Well, if Porcello loses this one, he will drop to 3-8. Here into his 12th start of 2017. Through 12 starts last year, he was 7-2. Right at Rutledge, he knocks it down. The recovery will not be in time. You can't make a mistake with Gardner as the base runner, and Rutledge did.
Yeah, as soon as you bobble the ball with Gardner going down the line, you're going to probably be charged with an error. There's the bounce. He comes up a little bit on it. It doesn't go that far away from him, but Gardner just flies down the line. He got no chance.
Be an error. The Red Sox have made a couple of those tonight.
Gardner at first base has 5 steals on the season. He's been caught 1 time.
Hicks 0 for 2 with a walk. He has 2 career home runs against Rick Porcello. And of course, that big fella, Aaron Judge, is right around the corner. He's on deck. Runner goes. Swing and a miss. The toss will not get him. Gardner with a theft of second.
Well, you knew that was coming. A 5-run lead, and Gardner's got nothing to lose, really. Picks up number 6. No contest. Leone trying to sidearm throw to second base, but it was such a good jump at first base. In the head first slide, there was really no chance at all to get Gardner. Here's the throw by Leone. He knew he had to rush, so he goes to the sidearm flip, and Gardner gets in scoring position with nobody out.
Hicks has driven in 31 runs already. Here's the 1-1. Sox and the Yankees finish up the series tomorrow night right here on NESN. David Price and Michael Pineda. Price trying to go to 2-0. Coming off an outstanding performance in Baltimore. That's hit hard but foul as he yanked it down the line. Two and 2. Today in Red Sox history, 14 years ago today, June 7th of 03, the Red Sox were trailing Milwaukee 10-5 in the 7th inning. when Kevin Millar hit a pinch hit grand slam to bring the Sox within a run. Trot Nixon and Jason Varitek hit back-to-back homers in the 9th inning to win it 11-10. Three and two. Fans, be sure to stop by Plainridge Park Casino. Plainridge Park Casino, 45 minutes from Boston. Porcello has a couple of walks tonight, one of those intentional. Twisting pop into left field. Young coming on. First out here in the 7th inning with Judge on the way up.
And looks like John Farrell making his way out.
So the night will be over for Rick Porcello pitching into the 7th inning. But tonight responsible for 5 runs. Obviously not too happy about things right here as the Sox are down 5-zip. Call to the bullpen, and we'll be back with more from the Bronx in just a moment. Lexus Strikeout Hunger Program in partnership with Nesson and the Greater Boston Food Bank. Visit your Boston area Lexus dealer in June and donate non-perishable food items. For more information, visit Nesson.com/Lexus. Jerry Remy and Dave O'Brien with you here from Yankee Stadium. Here's Blaine Boyer, 1.69 ERA in 5 appearances. And he has the delightful task of getting out Aaron Judge. He's brought in from the bullpen. Judge has gone 0 for 2 with an intentional walk tonight. 5-0 New York in the 7th. Runner at second base, Gardner, after the error and the stolen base.
Actually jammed him inside with that fastball. And, you know, I was watching him in batting practice the other day and yesterday, as a matter of fact, and he was taking those inside fastballs and shooting them to the opposite field with great distance.
Holiday on deck. 1 down and a 1-1. Right through that one, a 94-mile-an-hour four-seamer. Another great moment last night at least up to the 7th inning, was Joe Kelly facing Aaron Judge. And reaching 103 miles an hour. Time is granted. Then eventually striking him out with a slider. There were 6 pitches over 100 miles an hour. Holiday waiting on deck, one away, and a 1-2 pitch.
Trying to get him chase that high fastball again, and that time able to make some contact, foul it off.
Runner at second base belongs to Rick Porcello. Went 6 and a third, 5 runs, 8 hits so far. Waved at and missed, and he struck him out with a soft one.
You're talking about last night at Joe Kelly striking out Judge. We got some highlights of that coming up, and it was pretty impressive. You know, Kelly rearing back and firing. This was last night against Judge. Upstairs with a fastball that he fouls off. Upstairs with another fastball up and in. Going up and in again, staying inside. That time it's fouled off.
There's a ground ball up the middle. Bogart's dive knocks it down. The runner's going to try and score. Gardner coming home. The throw to the plate, not in time. Holiday with an RBI single. The speedy Gardner comes churning in. That'll make it 6-0. His 38th RBI.
Now by Gardner getting into scoring position. Excellent jump on contact. That ball smothered. And continuing on home was Gardner with the head for a slide. So the steal of second base gets him into scoring position. The knockdown base hit brings him in the score.
Charge that run to Porcello, so he gives up 6 in 6 1/3. 2-out base hit by Holiday. Here's Castro. Good night going for him with a triple and a single. He's 2 for 3. And he flares that one foul for strike 1. So thus far a very tough second night in New York City for the Red Sox. After the dramatic win last night, down 6-0. One and one. Castro, the former Cub, looks like he has found a home here in New York. Moving from shortstop to second base. With Holiday on at first. And the 2-1 pitch from the right-handed veteran. High pop to center. Plenty of time for Jackie Bradley to get under this one. That'll be the 3rd out. Yankees keep on scoring. They add another run, now leading it 6-0 through 7. sponsored by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. 8th inning here at Yankee Stadium. 6-0 New York. Red Sox have managed only 5 hits tonight. Jackie Bradley is struck out and grounded to the pitcher. He'll be followed by Marrero and then Betts. And a strike. Sabathia has been impressive. Tyler Clippard getting going in their bullpen. One and two.
A tough spot for that breaking ball. Starts it over the middle, ends up down and away, and no contact by Bradley. Sabathia has been really, really good tonight.
He's also been excellent all season long following a Yankee loss. He's gone 5-0 after they lose with an ERA of 1.53, so he's been a stopper. It's kind of old school CC Sabathia. He used to do that all the time. He has set down 9 straight. Three and 2 to count. We haven't had many of those tonight. Realize last night's game there were 24 3-2 counts.
And it felt like it.
We were here to see him. 3-2 here. Digging that one. On to first in plenty of time. As Gregorius sets him down. Another routine ground out. A ton of those tonight. Tomorrow, the rubber match of this 3-game series here in New York. David Price making his 3rd start, opposed by Michael Pineda. Our coverage begins tomorrow night at 6 on NESN. One away, Marrero hitless tonight. He has flied twice to the right fielder.
Pineda having a good season, 6-3, 3.76. You see his numbers against Boston. And career numbers at Yankee Stadium, 8-5 for David Price.
Attendance tonight here in the Bronx, 44,380. Very pretty night when this game got underway. Long way from last night, which was chilly and damp occasionally. Knocked foul out of play by Marrero. Red Sox hit 3 home runs last night, but they only have 5 hits and nothing out of the ballpark so far tonight against Sabathia. Mookie Betts on deck. Red Sox looking for a charge out of somebody. That's around the outside edge. Sox will be back home at Fenway Park on Friday against the Tigers. At 7:10. Saturday at 7:15. Line shot. Sounded like he broke his bat on that foul ball. And of course, Sunday is Sunday Night Baseball, and Red Sox invite in the Phillies for a couple. That's the entirety of that homestand, though. Those 5 games. Barely enough to unpack after an 11-day trip.
Yeah, I haven't looked ahead very much, but the second half of the season has to feature a lot of home games for the Red Sox.
And you're right. Not the case at the moment right now, but come September. Sox have a lot more home games in September. And that's going to be in there for strike 3. No argument from Marrero as he'll take a seat. It's 11 in a row retired by Sabathia. Time for the carrying the freight moment, brought to you by Old Dominion.
Now it's the catch by Mookie Betts. First by the fan who makes contact, and then he rolls it right in the glove of Mookie Betts. See the left hand? Put it directly into the glove. So that goes as an assist. for the man in red.
Right. No review on the play. Mookie has gone 0 for 3. Strikeout, a flyout, and a pop-up. Old Dominion is the official freight carrier of Major League Baseball and the Boston Red Sox. Hard ground ball, but he pulled it right to Headley. 1, 2, 3 go the Red Sox. That has been the case for the last 3 innings here in New York. Sabathia has been tough. Brought to you by Xfinity. Rick Porcello 6 1/3, but knocked around to the tune of 5 earned runs, 8 hits, couple of homers. Sabathia's been outstanding, over 8, shutting out the Red Sox at the moment on a 5-hitter. Gregorius with one of those home runs. But Boyer came on in relief with 1 out in the 7th. He'll take on Sanchez here, and then Gregorius and Headley in the bottom of the 8th inning. A very, very quiet Red Sox attack tonight.
Now Sabathia had a lot to do with that. One pitch that was very impressive for him tonight was his backdoor breaking ball to right-handed hitters. It's like he never missed his spot.
Yankees do have a right-hander warming in the bullpen. That's going to be strike 3 on Sanchez. Time to see who's on track, presented by Amtrak. And Gregorius with that home run back in the 3rd inning. That was their first run of the night. To that point, Porcello had really been dealing. And he gave up a couple of more hits in that inning. Got out of it, though, with the bases loaded. And you thought, well, he passed that test. Might be his night. But 4th inning, he allowed 4 runs. Another run was charged to him in the 7th inning. And the Yankees lead it 6-0. Jonathan Holder is the man in the bullpen for the New York Yankees. Sabathia's pitch count's been in pretty good shape, though. He's had a lot of fast innings. So you wonder, would he go back out there? He's at 95.
Well, he had his jacket on, and I saw him walking toward the Yankee clubhouse. That doesn't mean anything, but
Ripped into center field for a base hit.
Seemed like it could be the end of the evening for him.
Red Sox would not mind if that's the case. So Gregorius with a sharp single with one down sends up Chase Headley, who's gone 2 for 3 with a pair of singles and has scored a run. Yankees with 10 hits tonight. Sox have 5. A Boston defeat, and the Red Sox go to 2 back of the Yankees. Baltimore is down to the Pirates 6-1. They're in the 7th inning. The Orioles at the moment are 2.5 out. 1-1. Carter on deck. He cracked a 3-run homer in the 4th inning. Red Sox come to 9th inning, have Young, Bogarts, and Hanley Ramirez due up. Fouled off the catcher. Tomorrow at 6 o'clock, do not miss Red Sox first pitch, presented by Joseph Abboud, available at Men's Warehouse. TC Eck and Steve have the latest on Dustin Pedroia's return from the DL. I walked into Joseph's store while we were here in New York. Beautiful store. Just gorgeous.
When'd you go today?
Went on the off day.
On the off day?
Yep. Did a little shopping. Went to, they got a lot of summer stuff on display. You know, a lot of linens. A lot of stuff you'd be wearing at the beach.
Why not at the beach?
I didn't buy any of the linens because we're not at the beach. Felt a lot more like summer today here in New York. One, 2 on Headley, and he won't chase it. Well, today's suits designed by Joseph Abboud, custom made in the USA of fine Italian fabrics. Available at Men's Warehouse. Text NEST into 66960 and receive a coupon for $20 off your next purchase of $100 or more at Men's Warehouse. Data rates may apply. Three and 2. Leaving the score as it is, the Red Sox staff is one that throws a lot of strikes and doesn't walk many. And this time he walks them. So Headley's on for the 3rd time. That'll push runners to 1st and 2nd with 1 away. Hitter will be Chris Carter, a single and a home run. He's also flying to right field, moving Mookie Betts all the way to the top part of that wall to make a fan-aided catch on the funnel play, which we all practiced in our backyards as kids. Funneled the baseball right into his glove. Six runs on 10 hits for the Yankees. No runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Red Sox. And Boyer has that one fouled away by Carter. Two men aboard. It's Gregorius at 2nd and Headley at 1st after a base hit and a walk. Only one man out, and the 0-2 is too high.
Boyer's one of those guys you can use a lot out of the bullpen.
That one ripped into left field. Young charging, and that's going to be off the base of the fence. Gregorius is in to score. Headley will trot into third base. It's a lengthy single for Carter, who's just driven in his 4th run tonight.
Yeah. How about that night? Out of the 9 spot in the batting order, he came into the game a 183 hitter. But the base hit in the 3rd, the home run in the 4th, and now this single to drive in another run in the 8th. Right off the base of the wall. Young gets it back in. Another run across, and a big night for the number 9 hitter in the lineup.
His 3rd hit. So 1st and 3rd with 1 down. And Gardner, last time up, reached on an error by Rutledge at second base. Then he stole second and came in to score. He is, however, 0 for 4. One of those nights where everything has gone right for the Yankees and not much for the Red Sox. Brandon Workman now throwing in the bullpen. Brandon still trying to work his way fully back from Tommy John. Oh, 1 and a base hit into left field. Headley had gone back. Now he's heading home. And it is 8-0 Yankees. Gardner with the RBI, his 27th. So this one has become a rout in New York, and here comes Carl Willis.
Yep, just gets that 2-seam fastball that's upstairs above the belt and slaps it to the opposite field. Does Gardner. Takes those breaking balls, he can pull them. Fastballs usually go the other way.
Tomorrow at 6:30, just don't miss Red Sox Game Day Live, presented by DCU. TC Eck and Steve preview the pitching matchup between Price and Pineda. DCU is Digital Federal Credit Union. What can DCU save you? So it's 8 runs on 12 hits for the Yankees.
Looks like we might have a runner at first base for Gardner. As Girardi trying to call timeout with the big lead. Ref Snyder coming in to run for Gardner.
So the left fielder's night is over. And Aaron Hicks to get in with runners at first and second. Still only 1 away here in the bottom of the 8th. On the night, Hicks with a strikeout, a pop to short, a walk, and a fly to left. So he's gone 0 for 3. And right on the edge, according to home plate ump Phil Cuzzy. Judge still in the game, and he's on deck. He also doesn't have a hit tonight. Really, the damage for the Yankees has come from like the 5 spot down. That's where most of the hits are. Castro, the 5-man, has 2. Didi Gregorius, the number 7 hitter, has 2, including a home run. Chase Headley has 2 as the 8 hitter, and Carter's been the star with 3. And the 4 RBIs in the 9 hole.
Well, you got to think if you get that kind of production out of the 9 guy in the lineup, you've got a good chance to win the game.
Sure. And The Yankees lead it 8-0 in the 8th. Count goes to 3 balls and a strike on Hicks. And a weak ground ball. Rutledge has it. Bogart's got 1 out there. That's all they get. Just not hit sharply enough to turn 2. And they're safe on the corners with 2 away.
Yeah, I think if Rutledge had to do that all over again, he'd probably spin and throw it to Bogarts at shortstop. He tried a very long underhand flip right there. That's a long distance from second base. I think if you get down to one knee and you fire a throw at his chest, he may have a chance to turn a double play, although it still would have been close.
2 down for Judge. Red Sox have actually done a good job on the young star. He's gone 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a ground out. And Rick Porcello had a base open in the 3rd inning. He smartly pitched around him, wound up walking him intentionally after went to 3-0. And Rick got out of that inning by getting Holiday to fly out. But he is a fearsome presence in that batter's box at that size.
Little slide at that time for the no contact swing by Judge. That ball down in the strike zone. Lower part of the zone.
1 ball, 1 strike. Pinch hitter in the on deck area for Holiday. There's Austin Romine. 1 ball and 1 strike on Judge. That's a strike. First and 3rd, and a 1-2 pitch to Judge. He flies that one into right field, not deep. And Mookie Betts with a running play to retire at the side. But the Yankees get a couple of more runs. They lead it 8-0 at the end of 8. Presented by Capital One. This is Banking Reimagined.
Well, a triple by Rutledge as this ball kind of fooled the center fielder. He started in, went back, got over his head, and Rutledge all the way to third base. with the triple. And 2 hits in the game tonight, a double and a triple.
Rev Snyder staying in the ball game to play left field for the Yankees. And Torreyes now taking over at second base with Holder, the new pitcher. Right-hander coming on for his 25th appearance already. And Andrew Benintendi will be the pinch batter. He's in for Young in the 2 slot. So underway here in the 9th inning, 8-0. So Sabathia goes 8. He was outstanding. No runs, 5 hits. And he did not walk anybody. Set down the last 12 men he faced. 1, 2, 3 innings in the 6th, 7th, and the 8th. Through 95 pitches and 64 for strikes. So if you're the Red Sox, you have to tip your cap to the soon-to-be 37-year-old lefty.
Yeah, it's one of the best games I've seen him throw in a while against the Red Sox.
Bogart's on deck. Yankees in the lead 8-0. They've out-hit Boston 12-5. The Sox have made the only 2 errors. Reaches out. He pokes that one to the third baseman. And Headley will get him. So 1 man away in the 9th. For every Red Sox home run this season, Speedway donates $500 to Boston Children's Hospital. Now through the end of July, use your Speedy Rewards card when you purchase any size fountain or frozen drink for 69 cents and get an entry code to win a VIP experience. Xander with a single in his very first at bat. He's 1 for 3. What Sabathia did was truly the definition of scattering 5 hits. 1 hit in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the 5th. Torreyes throws fairly close, but got him. 2 up and 2 down. Time for a twisted but true fact. Craig Kimbrell recorded a save and he struck out 5 batters while pitching 1 in the 3rd last night. According to Elias, he's the only pitcher to record more strikeouts than outs in a save of more than an inning since saves became an official stat in 1969. Twisted tea tastes like real iced tea. Be a little twisted. So he's done that. He's had a 4 strikeout inning. A couple of times this year. He's had that immaculate inning. 9 strikes and 3 outs. 3 strikeouts. I mean, he's having an incredible year. He was not going to be pitching tonight no matter what. Matt Barnes was going to close if it came to it. But the Red Sox are down 8-0 with 2 down in the 9th. Andy Ramirez 0 for 3. He's lined to third, grounded to short, grounded to third base. To the shortstop. Gregorius gobbles that up. Low throw, but in time to get him, and that's the ball game. The Red Sox are shut out tonight. 8-0 the final score. This was all about CC Sabathia, really. And Chris Carter, their number 9 hitter, who drove in 4. Sabathia, well, for TC, that is shades of old for the left-hander, huh?